Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Like I said in my previous video that I'm gonna leave sleeve and this calculation and everything concerning sleeve for another video entirely. So today we are going to talk about sleeve, okay? Everything concerning sleeve, the formula and everything you need to know in drafting of senator sleeve entirely, okay? Basically, there are two types of sleeve. You have known, I'm sure you'll be aware by now, the long sleeve and the short sleeve, okay? Long sleeve and short sleeve, okay? And in long sleeve there are three types. Inside the long sleeve there are three types, okay? Inside the long sleeve we have number one, the straight sleeve. Number two, the collar sleeve. And number three, we have the two pieces, okay? And this one is mainly for suit or safari. Sometimes there are some clients that will say they want their native to have suit sleeve, okay? That's why I added this, okay? All right, these are the three types of sleeve in long sleeve. These are the three types, okay? And we are going to talk about give me cleaner. We are going to talk about straight sleeve. First of all, everything you need to know about straight sleeve, okay, which is the number one. All right. So sorry, before I talk about the straight sleeve, inside the sleeve, there are things parts you need to measure from the client. Number one, your overall sleeve length. Number two, the round sleeve, and also the wrist, okay? These are the things you need to measure, okay? And apart from the sleeve length, every other thing you need, like I talked about in, if you have been following me in my previous video, okay, every other thing in the sleeve is divided by two. The round sleeve is divided by two, the wrist is divided by two, but the overall sleeve length is what we are going to talk about. Okay, is what we're going to deal on very much well now. Okay, and the number one, which is straight sleeve. Straight sleeve, as the name implies, is going to be straight. All right, I'm just going to explain. Straight sleeve is the part of sleeve. Man, some of your native, if you watch, you see there is no collar. Those ones that doesn't have collar is called straight sleeve. Okay, straight sleeve in the cotton. Okay, the formula is just overall sleeve length. Okay, plus two. Okay, plus one. Okay, overall sleeve length plus 2 plus 1, sorry, plus 0.5, actually 0.5. Okay, these two you're adding here is the hemming allowance. Okay, these two depends on how much you want to hem it. If you're hemming by 3, it's going to be 3. If you're hemming by 4, it's going to be 4. 2.5 is going to be 2.5, but this 0.5 is the seam allowance when you are joining it to the shoulder. Okay, this is a formula for the straight sleeve. Sleeve plus 2 plus 0.5. Why you're adding the 0.5 is for your seam allowance, okay? And this is your hemming allowance, where you will fold inside. If you don't know what is hemming, the points at the end of the sleeve where you are going to fold inside. Okay, I'm just going to explain with a diagram. Okay, let's assume. And secondly, your sleeve, apart from round sleeve, the wrist and the overall sleeve length, there is a point called armhole. Just like your native top also have your senator top also have armhole. The armhole, whatever you derive, and the formula to get the armhole, whatever you derive from the borders. If you are following me, if you watch my recent videos, the borders of the cloth, that is chest. The formula for armhole, chest divided by 4, okay, is equal to your armhole. Let's assume we have chest 38 divided by 4 equal to 9. I think 9, okay, equal to 9.5. This is our armhole for the native, for the body of the cloth, and will also serve as the armhole for the sleeve, okay? But in the case when you want it to be more fitting, you can just work with 9. Take off the 0.5, work with 9, because even when you are sloping, I'm going to talk about the slope. Even when you are sloping, you are going to increase. Remember, our shoulder slope increases the length, okay, and give us free and excess for our sewing allowance. So it is in armhole also. The more you slope, the more you have space for seam allowance. So this is it. Chest divided by 4 equals our armhole. So we're still gonna make use of it. Okay. Let's assume We have the armhole, like I said, armhole 9. Okay, from here to, let's assume from here to here is 9 inches. I'm just going to increase it. Let's assume from here to here is 9 inches. From here to here is 9 inches. Okay, and this is our, this is the English mouth of your fabric, the edge of your fabric. Okay, this is the edge of your fabric. And let's assume we have sleeve 25. Okay, now there is something called slope. Like you slope the shoulder, so you have slope in your sleeve also. And remember, the more you slope in your the borders of your native, also you get rid of the excess in the armhole, so it is in your sleeve. Okay, if it is going to be long sleeve, I'm still going to explain in the short sleeve. If it's going to be long sleeve, you need to slope well up to 4.5 to 5 inches in order to get rid of the excess. I'm still going to give an example. Let's assume this from here to here is 2 inches, and I'm just sloping by 2 inches. And another sleeve, I sloped up to 4 inches, and I just sloped by 4 inches. You discover from here to here, you already have excess of the fabric. And if you don't take off this excess, if you don't take off this excess, it's just going to gather under the armhole of your native, which is very bad, giving the sleeve a squeeze. Sometimes you find out that people, if you look the clothes people wear regularly every day, you discover most of them used to have some sleeve excess, sorry, squeezes under the armhole. So just gonna slope well. And remember, in your native, the more you slope, the more you encounter problems. Okay, this also comes with its own problem, but it's very very easy to solve. Okay, if you slope well, you don't just want to slope. When you are sloping, you don't just want to take it straight. Let's assume this is point zero point, sorry, 4.5. Let's just want to take it so straight like this, because at the tip of the shoulder line, it will pop and giving the sleeve a very very rough look, which is very bad. So what you would do is this: instead of taking it straight, just from that your the edge of your fabric up to 3.5 inches away, you take it straight. When you are approaching the 3.5, you gradually slope until you get to the point. Okay, until you get to the point that you need to stop, which is your sleeve slope. And remember, the more you slope, the more you get rid of excess, and the more you slope, the more you get enough space. Okay, extended space. Okay, let's assume now, give me take, let's assume this is our armhole and this is 9. Okay, let's assume this is 9. Okay, I'm just gonna use my tape here and get here. This is, we have 5.5 here. Then let's measure at the end of this loop. If we are going to still going to have 5.5, you discover it's already turning to almost 8. You have enough excess, okay, that will match your armhole. That is why initially, remember, our armhole is chest divided by 4, which is chest 38 divided by 4 give me 9.5, and I remove this 0.5. Okay, even at that, removing that 0.5, you will still have enough space, okay, to get your armhole. So at this point now, when you are done sloping, at this point, if your round sleeve is 14, 14 divided by 2, remember, is 7, plus 1, which is your seam allowance. Remember, you're going to add 1, which is your seam allowance. 14 plus 1, okay, which is 7 plus 1 is 8. So what you're going to do here is 8. You mark your 8. Even your wrist, whatever is your wrist, if the cuff is that is your wrist, is 10. 10 divided by 2 is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. You're still gonna mark it until you get exactly the shape you need. Okay, whichever way is gonna be exactly the shape you need at the sleeve, okay, for you to curve. Remember, I'm talking about straight sleeve. Okay, and you are going to add at the overall length. That is to say, if the sleeve length is 25, we are going to add 2 inches, or whichever allowance you want to add for the hemming allowance, okay, plus 0.5. Why 0.5? For the seam allowance, when you are joining here to the shoulder of the, sorry, the armhole of the borders of the clothes, it will take off that 0.5. And why join, you remember what you added is 0.5, so that you don't sew more than that or less than that. Okay, that is it for straight sleeve. Okay, straight sleeve, as the name implies, is just, and remember, this is just half of the cloth. You're going to fold it into two. Okay, this diagram here is half of the cloth. Thereby, it will still have an extension. If I'm to draw the full line, it will still have an extension continuous. Okay, sorry for my small board. All right, so that's all about the straight sleeve. So I'm just going to talk about the collar sleeve. Okay, the collar sleeve is where the most calculation is. Okay, let's talk about collar now. Collar, the measurement to use as your collar varies depending on what you are making and depending on who you are making it for. Okay, from 2 inches, 2.5, 3 inches, 3.5. Okay, for kids you can stick with 2 inches or 2.5, and from some average adults you can still stick with 2.5, 3 inches, as the case may be. So for me, I do make use of 3 inches. So 3 inches, and this is the formula for the collar. For the collar sleeve, this is overall sleeve length, okay, plus 1, okay, minus your collar. Overall sleeve length plus 1 minus your collar. So the question is why plus 1? Remember, if your collar, let's assume our sleeve, therefore if our sleeve is 25, okay, plus 1 minus, and I'm using 3 inches as my collar, minus 3. Okay, if your sleeve length is 25 and you remove these 3 inches out of the 25, 25 minus 3 will give you, remember what I'm saying here is why cutting your cloth. Okay, so 25 minus 3 is going to give you 22. 22. Mm, okay, by the time you sew, you take off, remember the sleeve, let's assume this is the sleeve. Okay, by the time, sorry for my rough sketching, by the time you take off half an inch from the armhole point and half an inch for joining the collar, 0.5 plus 0.5 is going to give you 1 inch. That means you already have 1 inch reduced from this 25. Okay, if you remove 1 inch from this 25, if you remove 1 inch from this 25, it will remain 24. Okay, I hope I'm not confusing you. Okay, let me just stick with the formula. Let me just stick with the formula. So this 25 plus 1 is equal to 26. Okay, 26 minus 3 will give you minus 3, okay, will give you 23. Okay, this is what you use in sketching, in cutting your sleeve. Okay, this is exactly what I'm going to explain better so you understand it. Sleeve plus 1 minus collar. Okay, now remember, this 0 point, this one here is your seam allowance. That's why you are adding it. The 0.5 for joining at the shoulder point and 0.5 at the collar point. Okay, so this one here is just your seam allowance. That's why you are going to add it to your overall sleeve measurement in order to complement while sewing. So by the time you minus your collar from this 26, it will give you 23, and by the time after you are done sewing, now this is 23. 23 minus this and 1. By the time you join at the shoulder point and join your collar, it's going to remain 22. 22 plus this 3, which is your collar, will give you 25. I hope I'm not confusing you. Okay, let me just take it once again. All right, let's assume our sleeve. The formula is sleeve plus 1 minus collar. Okay, and this 1 inch, 0.5 is your seam allowance joining to your shoulder, and the other 0.5 is your seam allowance joining the collar to the border is on, that is to your sleeve. Okay, so let's assume your, like I said earlier, you have 25. 25 plus 1 is 26. 26 minus 3 is equal to 23. So what you use is this 23. Just work with this formula. At the end of the day, you're not going to have a shorter sleeve or a longer sleeve. Just going to be that 25. Just make sure your measurement of the body of your client is correct. Once your measurement is correct, work with this formula. It will give you exactly what you need. Sleeve plus 1 minus collar. Okay, I think I've explained it all. This 1 inch is for your seam allowance. That is why you are adding it here. Okay, and let me say, if we didn't add this 1 inch, okay, we say 0.25 minus 3. 25 minus 3, it's gonna give you 22. 22 by the time you join your collar. Okay, by the time you sew from your shoulder and sew and join the collar also, it's gonna remain 21. 21 plus 3 is going to give you 24, which is shorter than the sleeve measurement, which is 25. I believe you understand what I'm saying. Okay, so that is all about the collar. Okay, sleeve plus 1 minus collar, your overall sleeve length plus 1 minus collar. So we are going to talk about the two pieces sleeve, which is also a little bit complicated because it's always, I should have left this for suit calculation, but I'm just going to say it, okay? So two pieces. The formula for two pieces is this: sleeve overall sleeve length plus 2 plus 1. Overall sleeve length plus 2 plus 1. Okay, I want you to pay close attention. These two here, just like in straight sleeve, is for your hemming allowance and it is constant. In your straight sleeve, I said you can use the number depending on the design you are making and who you are making the cloth for. You can use whichever figure you, but in these two pieces, 2 inches is constant and plus 1. This one is also for the sewing allowance. Okay, now the question is why 1, why not 0.5? Out of this one, 0.5 is for the joining of the sleeve to the borders of the clothes. The remaining 0.5, okay, is for the popping. You know, suit sleeve, when you look at suit, you discover that the hand always pops up. Okay, that pop is that's gonna be there. This 0.5 will take care of it, because if you don't add it, it's gonna take it out of your sleeve. Let's assume, therefore, if our suit sleeve is 25 plus 2 plus 1, okay, 25 plus 2, that means your overall sleeve length, 25 plus 2 plus 1, okay, this is 27. 27 plus 1 equals 28. That is to say, if your sleeve is 25, you're going to arrive at cutting it 28. Okay, so if you don't add this allowance, remember, it will be deducted from your sleeve measurement. Okay, if you add only 0.5 here, if you add only 0.5 here, this 0.5 will go for seam. Okay, and the remaining 0.5 will be taken from this sleeve. At the end of the day, maybe having a shorter sleeve. Okay, this is just the calculation of it. Okay, I'm just going to sketch. Remember, like I said earlier, the sleeve has two patterns. Okay, in the case of a trouser, if you have been following my video, the trouser, the back pattern is usually bigger than the front pattern. But in the case of a suit, okay, in this two pieces sleeve, the back pattern, sorry, the front pattern is bigger than the back pattern. Okay, let's assume we have okay, this is our sleeve now. Okay, pay attention because this two pieces sleeve has a lot of calculation in between the line. Let's assume our round sleeve. Okay, a quick one before I will go in the sketching. Okay, there is another formula. The basic formula for this, like I said earlier, is sleeve plus 2 plus 1. Okay, in between the gap, we also have round sleeve. Okay, round sleeve divided by 2 plus 2 to get the first pattern, which is the front pattern for the suit. Okay, hope you are not confused. This is the basic pattern for cutting the length of the suit, sorry, of the sleeve. Okay, but for the width, the front pattern, this is the formula you're going to use: round sleeve divided by 2 plus 2. Okay, I'm still going to explain. Remember, this 2 here is for your seam allowance also, because the second pattern, which is the back pattern, is going to be exactly what you get from here. Your round sleeve divided by 2 is what you're going to use to sketch the back pattern, which is smaller, but the front pattern is going to be 2 inches bigger. Okay, I'm just going to sketch so you'll understand. Okay, let's say we have round sleeve. I'll be using 14. Let's say we have round sleeve 14. Okay, 14 divided by 2 is 7. In your fabric, you're just going to get the 7. Let's assume from here to here. Okay, we already have 7 here. We have 7 here. Okay, you still need to get half of the 7, which is 3.5. Okay, plus your 2 inches, which is 9. Okay, so you're going to take the line. You continue getting the same figure until you get to the overall length of the sleeve. I hope you understand how to get your actual length without having a faulty sleeve. Okay, so let's assume from here to here is overall round sleeve. So here is the 2 inches excess. Okay, so at this age, I just have to confirm, at this age you get 2.5 is standard. Okay, though depending on the person, if you are making for a kid, this measurement here varies. Okay, this is for the slope of the sleeve. Remember, we are drafting the front pattern. Okay, so 2.5 at this point. Also from the edge of your fabric, you also get 6 inches. The same thing applied here. From here to here, from here to here, you get your 2.5. Let's assume here is 2.5. Okay, 2.5. You're just gonna get exactly 2.5, and you also get your 6. If you want to join the line, you can still join the lines. Okay, so you'll be accurate. Then at this point, remember, this is your original round sleeve, which is 14 divided by 2, 7. Okay, and half of that for 7 is 3.5. So at the top edge of your fabric, you just need to notch, because if you don't notch it now during the sewing, it will be very very difficult to know the center of the sleeve. So this place you notch is the overall center of the sleeve. Okay, because these 2 inches you're adding here, 1 inch is going to go for the back pattern, 1 inch is going to go for the front pattern. And remember, you're still going to sew, so what will be remaining out of these 2 inches is going to be around 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So the front will take its own and the back pattern will take its own. So this is just the center of it. You notch it. Then from this point, you just take your curve. Okay, gradually take your curve. Okay, okay, to this point, and you gradually bring it down to this, sorry, to this point. Okay, sorry for my rough sketch, I'm not good in sketching. Okay, from here to here, from here to here, you're gonna end here. So this is your shoulder slope, and also this is the other part of the slope. Okay, so you're gonna end from here to here. I really remember, I'm not taking it from here to here, it's gonna end here to here. So this is just all about it. My board is too small, I would have explained more, but on the day of the practical, I'm still gonna talk more about every other thing. I'm just gonna stick on the armhole now. Maybe whenever I'm doing the practical, I'll explain more the slit, okay, and every other thing you need to do. So now we are talking about the smaller pattern. Remember here we added 2 inches, okay, but for the small pattern, you're not gonna add anything. Just gonna make use of that your round sleeve, which is 7. And remember why you're not adding anything, because you already have 2 inches excess at the front pattern. So you're just gonna put it there, okay, and this is it. So after you must have gotten your curve, okay, like I said, during practical, I'm gonna explain more about this, because there are curves in between here, okay, and there are slits. Your slit needs to be here, but my board is too small to explain that. Okay, so here, just gonna take it the same edge. Okay, let's assume this is the edge of the fabric. From the same edge of the fabric, okay, sorry, not from the edge of the fabric, the second pattern of the sleeve is gonna start from where this one ends, this curve where it ends. Okay, I'm just gonna make a line there where this slope ended to where this one ended. So this slope ended here, because you're gonna join this part to this part and this part to here. So from where this one ended, okay, you just make a line on it, then create a curve. Okay, create a curve. Okay, and this will be your second sleeve pattern. Okay, so you're just gonna, this is just the basic formula for the armhole. For the armhole, on the day of the practical, I'm just gonna take you deeper on the calculation, because my board is too small, I may not go further on the slit and every other thing involved. Okay, this is just the basic thing you need to know about this armhole. Remember, this sleeve is for suit, unless your client says I want my native to be like suit. Okay, I want the sleeve to be like suit sleeve. Okay, I'm just gonna stop here. This is just the basic thing to know. From this point to this point to this point. Okay, that's, remember to notch the center. Okay, all right guys, that's all about sleeve. Okay, if there's any other thing I forget to talk about during the practical of each of them, I'm gonna elaborate more, explain more on them. Okay, all right guys, okay, thanks for coming on our channel, and thanks for watching to this point. I will advise, please, you can subscribe. Okay, turn on your notification bell and give us a like. All right, okay guys, see you on the next